How are you, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Teacher Kaligo Dotto Njige, or Teacher Kadonji, the man of literature and the young African writers from Shinyanga, Tanzania. Dear listeners, especially students Form 5 and Form 6, college students, university students, English teachers, tutorials, and lecturers. Listen the play analysis, Black Mamba, by John Ruganda from Uganda. And the setting of this play was located in Kenya after independence. And this play, written in a year of 2005, this play, Black Mamba, has three parties. Let us look one part to another part. Part 1. This act begins by showing an action that takes place in the professor's living room. It is a beautiful house which has been well furnished. In the house there is a servant known as Berewa, who is seen to be a bit waking his wife. Namudi enters and the discussion begins. Namudi begins by explaining what she has been given by Professor. She was given 100 shillings as the payment of making love with the professor, a husband. The Rewa thinks her what they have forgotten and insists on using that man as the beginning of their development. His wife then, the idea of banking the man. She needs to spend the man by buying a new dress. She needs to become a modern woman as the other women whom she sees dressed well. She complains that she does not have good dresses more than which she was given by her husband. Belewa instructs his wife on how to entertain Professor so that she can get more than what she has been given. Nambudu refuses this idea. She does not want to go back again to the Professor. After a very long discussion between the two lovers, the door is knocked. Belewa orders his wife to hide herself, and then Odiambo, the professor's student, enters and asks for the professor. The professor is not around. Odiambo talks with Belewa and asks him many questions about the professor's private life. Odiambo seems to guess something different that goes on in the professor's house. He's suspicious towards the professor's life. Belewa tries his best to expect Odiambo question about his boss. Odiambo explains a lot about prostitution that is practiced by educated people. At the end of this part, Odiambo warns Belewa to keep secret what they have discussed and hands him an envelope in which there is 20 shillings inside. That is part 1. Let us look part 2. Professor Coax enters from the bathroom and finds when the reading room is not in a proper order as he needs it to be. He finds Namudu's photographs and pockets them. Namud enters the living room and finds the professors alone. Namud asks questions about outing. Professor then her wishes also. She insists a lot. They discuss many things, but Professor seems to be disgusted by other questions asked by Namud, who still insists him on talking her. For an outing, Namud goes out after a long discussion, and then the professor starts to think about his marriage life. He regrets that all his 7 years of marriage seem to be unfair. Namud comes back abrupt and asks the professor about her photos. The professor then, having seen them also, he keeps them. The professor is having a long discussion with Namud on how their love goes on. He tried to warn Namud to remain in the room once his visitors arrive. Since he is a respectable person and married and no one knows her presence, and he does not like any person to know that. Due to his dance, Namud started to complain how she should remain inside, to convince her not to appear while his visitors arrive. Professor gives her man. Professor. While in this discussion, the door is knocked. The professor goes to the door. He opens and finds a young, attractive girl in her mid 20s. This is Catherine. Professor welcomes the girl. Still suspicious about Namud. Have talked with Catherine starts. Then there is another knock at the door. This time, professor, students, or jump inside. The three start to discuss about different issues, including social and academic. Odiambo introduced debate on how people in their place live. He explained about prostitution done by people in the slums. Odiambo tried to express his feelings to Catherine about prostitution. He regrets that the whole society has decayed. Even the respectable people engaging in this illegal business, they are also customers of prostitutes in their town. While Odiambo and Catherine are still in the discussion, the professor returns and joins the discussion. Catherine believes professor on what she was previously discussing with Odiambo and the critical prostitution in the street. Catherine wants to go, but Professor disagrees to let her go. Instead, he needs her to share ideas since Odiambo's essay is about the same issue. Then, the heavy discussion between these 3 people begins so as to find the crux and some ways of helping the society to overcome the problem. Since the professor and Catherine are lecturers and the Odiambo is a student, the two help him much on how to write a good essay. While they are in discussion, Namudu abruptly bursts in, excited, frightened, and screams. The professor is shocked much by this action. Namudu proceeds screaming. She complains about Black Mamba in her bedroom. The professor is confused about this situation. Odiambo and Catherine are left wondering, since they were not aware before that there is a woman in the professor's house. Unlikely enough, they saw her in a night dress. Due to this confusion, Professor sends up quickly and gets out a handkerchief to wipe off the sweat from his forehead. Unknowingly, the photos fall from his pocket. They are Namudu's photographs. Catherine and Odiambo do not believe that happened before their eyes. They loosen their trust in the professor. The two discuss a little on the behavior shown before them by the professor and Namudu. The professor comes back and apologizes for what happened, but there is something bad inside his heart. Shame. He tries to be cold and hides the total embarrassment that he has. Part 2 ends by showing that the discussion which was going on elsewhere, the country wants to go, although the professor tries to convince her to remain in his home. Let us look part 3, the last part. This part begins by showing the Lewa dragging his wife Namudu. The reason is his dispute on what she has just done to Professor, despite all that he has been relating her. Bella is very furious and provoked his wife. for not following what he else directed her to do. The professor, he uses abusive language to her, and many ironically remarks Namud seemed to be nothing to him, since she has broken down all of his plans. Namud pleads to her husband, but he does not want to understand, and is still provoked. Due to this nagging, Berewa slaps his wife, and Namud's nose starts to bleed. Berewa regretfully his wife on what he has done to her, but she then is pleasant. She reproves to him, and then Berewa becomes furious against due to anger and ironical remarks given by his wife. He pushes her off the chest while she has killed in nagging. The professor enters. Namud tries to meet him, but he ignores her and goes straight to his room. No sooner has Namud repeated to God on what she has done than Professor comes in and starts rebuking her. He complained much about the behavior shown by her in front of his guests. He also used ironical remarks towards her. That is the plot summary of this play. Let us look at the title of this play. The title of this play, it is symbolic title, simply because the word black mamba tends to represent a snake. Black snake. The word black mamba tends to represent a black snake, which is dangerous to someone. That's why the title of the play, as I said, is a symbolic. It is someone who is dangerous to someone else. That's why the playwright Ruganda used Berewa as a black mamba who is dangerous to his wife, Namud. Berewa named or labeled as a black mamba who is dangerous to his wife, Namud. Another person who is black mamba, Professor Coat. Professor Coat is a black mamba, also the dangerous to Namud. He wants to sleep every day and pay some money to her. That's the title of our play. Let us look at the setting of this play. The setting of this play was located in Kenya after independence, especially in urban settings. Whereby we see the professor is a lecturer of university, and the university mostly found in urban areas. And also the playwright Ruganda shows the rural setting, has shown the Berewa's drive. He lives in rural village and decides to migrate in urban so as to find money to sustain his life. Let us look at the style as portrayed or used by a playwright. The use of dialogue portrayed in this play. There is a dialogue of conversation between Namud and Professor Coat, Berewa and the Professor Coat. Also, the use of third person point of view, the use of he, she, and they, also portrayed by a playwright. Also, let us look the character as shown or portrayed by the playwright. Number one, Professor Course. He is a university lecturer who does not use effectively his education. He is attracted by other women, although he is married. He is a womanizer. He likes to sleep with different women. Another character, Berewa. He is a professor's houseboy and the husband of Namun. He loves his wife, although he confuses her to bed with the professor so as to get married. He is a poor person. He is a pretender. He pretends that he does not have any love affair with Namun. Berewa lies Odiambo, that only water that makes noise inside the house, since he wishes pets. Another character, Namun. She is Berewa's wife, who became a concubine of the Professor Court. Namun is a good pretender. She pretends falling in love with Professor Court. The same the professor pretends to fall in a deep love with her. Another character, Odiam. He is a university student. He is very inquisitive, firstly incurious about the professor's personal life. He goes to the professor's house and finds Berewa alone. He asks him with tactical questions, which may help him to get what he wants. Another character, Castle Smith. She is a new lecturer in the college of the professor's department. She is also an argumentative woman. She is seen when holding discussion in Odiam. These are characters portrayed by a playwright, Ruganda, in his play. Let us look at the figures of speech as portrayed by playwright. Number one, symbolism. Example, Black Mamba is a symbol used to create mental picture. Black Mamba is a kind of very dangerous snake of the human being. By thinking the fierceness of this snake, that reader can think more in relative behavior of three characters, Berewa, Namun, and the Professor Court. Berewa can be a black mamba, as the title suggests. Berewa can be the black mamba on the bed, prove the fact that he is the one who planned to get money from the Professor Court through his wife, Namun. Again, black mamba can be a woman, also frequently storm in the Professor's house in the absence of the wife. Is the evidence of this thing when Berewa tells the police about the black mamba. The black mamba can also symbolize Namun. She pretends to have deep love with the professor, but the lead says she is not. When the police comes, they tell the professor that they have to rid him of the black mamba. Berewa and his wife, Namun, also are black mamba in the Professor Court's house. As I said before, that the title of it is symbolic. So it was number one, Berewa is a black mamba, Namudu is a black mamba in Professor Coates' house, and also Professor Coates is a black mamba to Namudu. Another figure of speech is similar. Example, when did you have to charge into the room like a hysterical girl? In this expression, Namudu's action is compared with that of a hysterical goat. Another, you go on riding bike on agent. Another figure of speech, example, I don't want to believe this. I'm inclined to think she's of God. The professor, no, unbelievable, and what I. Another one is when Berewa wants his wife Namudu to go to bed with Professor so as to make man. You find out good, and when you have done of this, Namudu, then we shall have everybody pointing at before long. There are gods, Berewa, and his suite. Another figure of speech, soliloquy. Soliloquy is a speech by a character directed on oneself. The character gives the speech when alone on the stage, and his speech expresses openly in his thought and feeling. This is shown Berewa and Namud speak themselves on the stage. Then, let us look things found in this place. Number one, conflict. The playwright has portrayed conflict in this place. Example. Another example of conflict between Namud and Professor Coates. Another conflict between Berewa and Professor Coates. Another conflict between Namud and Berewa. Another self. Individualism. This is the act of someone thinking that he or she is more important. Example, professors seem developing individualism from the action done to Namud. Another thing, ignorance. Example, Professor Coates, Namud, and Berewa are ignorant simply because they decide. Example, Professor Coates used his mind to undermine the poor, especially women. Another thing, poverty. Example, Berewa's life. Another thing, love of faith. Example, is the love between Namud and Berewa. Another love, Namud and Professor Coates. And another love affair between women and girls and Professor Coates. Let us look at the role and position of women in this play. Number one, women portrayed. is the truthful lady. Example, Namu. Also, women portrayed as ignorant. Example, Namu. Women portrayed as intelligent. Example, Catherine Smith. Also, women portrayed as educated person. Example, Catherine Smith. Let us look the methods found in this play. Number 1. We should struggle against prostitution. The trap hypothesis is not good in our society, simply because led misunderstanding among people in the society. Love is very important between two lovers. Conflict should be solved in our society so as to maintain peace. The rich people should use their money to help the poor people. Prostitution should be discouraged in our society. Let us look at the relevance of this play, the Black Mamba. Even in our society, there are people who are Black Mamba, they are white. The rich people use their money to undermine the poor people. In our society, there are people who decide to use their wife to get money to the rich people. Love and the unity is very important in our society. That is the end of the play tonight. I mean the play Mamba. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and comment below this video. My name is Teacher Kaligo Dotto Njige, or Teacher Kadonji, the mind of literature and the young African writers from Shinyanga, Tanzania. Thank you for listening to me. I wish you all the best.